Okay, so here's how I grew a Typee channel to $70,000 in AdSense revenue alone. So as you can see, $70,000. I started this channel in 2020 or the very beginning of 2022, blew it up right away. It's gone through some dips. It's gone through a lot of highs and always at least at around 20,000 views a day. I've never gone really below that. It's always just been at a solid amount of views every single day along with its highs. That's just how it goes in this game, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. But as you can see, $70,000 was generated from 28 million views. Now 28 million, that's a lot of views for sure, especially off strictly just beats. I never posted shorts on this channel. I never posted any other type of content. And so a lot of you guys watching this might not be familiar with this kind of business model, but it's really just posting beats on YouTube. And yeah, so as you can see, if I go to the channel, these videos get a lot of views, right? Not all of them, right? Some videos may just get 5,000, 10,000, but in general, a lot of them do get a lot of views, and that's strictly based on a certain strategy, right? A strategy that you have to follow in order to get these results consistently. So I posted 857 videos on this channel, and that has gotten me 28 million views, right? One of these videos alone gets almost 100 views an hour, and I dropped it on April 9th, 2023 is when I dropped that video. This video still gets views to this day, right? Like I said, a lot of these videos become very evergreen, and this video made me $4,430 on AdSense revenue alone. And yeah, so if you're not a music producer though, right, anyone getting into this type of YouTube niche has to be making beats or somehow being able to post beats on YouTube. But majority of you guys watching this most likely are music producers, and if you're not, no worries. There's a ton of videos out there on YouTube on how to make beats if you're not actually doing that yet. But I will say, if you're just trying to get into this for the money, there's a high likelihood that it won't work, right? If you truly are into music, then this is definitely a good route for you, because it gives you the ability to make money independently, not worrying about whether a record label is going to pay you, or worrying about, all that other stuff. Like this is strictly depending on you, how much work you're gonna put in. So some days, I've touched $246 in just YouTube revenue with this, and this is just one of my channels, so you can kind of see how scalable this is. And I started this channel and ran it all throughout high school. I'm 18 now. I graduated high school in June, but I've been able to really keep this channel consistent. And that's what a lot of people or a lot of producers always mess up, is they might start a channel or they just never really see results because they never really had a clear strategy. And some producers might see some results, but they never know how to keep the results coming in, right? Yeah, so that all comes down to consistency and strategy, and that comes into diving into your analytics. So earlier I talked with one of my producer friends who really we were just talking about how it all comes down to, first you study what other people are doing, right? You might be studying what I'm doing here and, seeing, okay, this guy did Big Scar type beats, that's how he blew up. And you might be like, okay, I'm going to start doing that, and just you want to copy what other people are doing that are killing it in this niche. And then once you get to 10, 20,000 subscribers, that's when you start really looking at your own data, right? Even 5,000 subscribers, you start seeing, okay, what's working for me, right? So I'd go into my audience or my analytics, and I'd see, okay, when is my audience coming on to YouTube, right? Okay, that's when I'm going to post. What is my audience watching? Okay, I might start posting more of that, right? You start looking at what's working for you. You see, okay, all my videos that blew up were on Big Scar. I'm going to keep doing that, right? You start really seeing, okay, what type of thumbnails are doing good? Okay, the thumbnails with the guns on it perform really well. I'm going to keep doing that. So it comes down to like building your own strategy as you go and really refining it, So yeah, when a lot of producers get into this game, they don't really know what they're doing. Essentially, they don't really know where to start. And maybe they might make more R&B beats, for example, right? But they wouldn't know how to really market that. A lot of producers struggle with marketing. And naturally for me, the marketing side was always the easy part, just because I got really obsessed with this game. But yeah, so I showed you earlier, one of these videos made me $4,430. another video. Let's just take a look at this one. 900,000 views. As you can see, it's pretty evergreen. They always get views, and so it still gets 1,000 views a day pretty much. I dropped it in May of 2023 as well, and it's made me almost $2,000 in AdSense revenue. Yeah, so that's pretty good, right? And you know, this is really a volume game, because the more you post, the more chances you have of getting a blow up. And also, it's a volume game because if you have 1,000 videos, right? If you have 1,000 beats that are all SEO optimized, right? That's another thing, is this game is all about SEO. So it really comes down to finding a good niche, finding a good keyword that has low competition, high search volume, and I'll get into all of that in just a second. But it's all SEO, so there's a lot of evergreen capability, right? And that means if we just keep posting, right? If you have 1,000 videos that are SEO optimized, and let's just say they all get 10 views a day, right? Not that many, but then that means you have guaranteed 10,000 views a day, and that's exactly what has happened with this channel, right? I have constant views coming in regardless of if I post or not, because I have this evergreen catalog built up. And so if you start doing this and you start making 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 channels, if you really wanted to, in this niche, you would start to have a lot of evergreen content built up and a lot of cash flow coming in, right? So that's essentially the business model. Also, you know, if you're a music producer, you're probably going to be selling these beats too. So this is where it really gets cool, is yeah, we're making money upfront off the YouTube revenue, right? Regardless of if the beat sells or not. But this is also free advertising to sell the beats. So what this looks like is you can be linking on the videos for them to buy the beat, right? So they would come to your website, they can buy a license, right? To be able to, you know, if they're an artist, they could get it on the Spotify, get it on the all that. That's where it goes. So yeah, it's super cool to get into it. Obviously, it's not that easy, because you know it is a struggle, because you have to figure out the strategy. You have to really think of, okay, how am I going to do this, and find the right knowledge. I get it, it's difficult. But lucky for you guys, I have a free newsletter. You can join it in the link in the description, where I give you guys free gems, free advice for your type beat channels, how to sell beats, all that. So go ahead and join that if you'd like. In this video here, you know, I have a video on this channel where I've talked about how I made this video make me $10,000, right? It made me about 5,000 in sales, and then about 5,000 in YouTube revenue, right? And that's usually how it goes. So it's very, very lucrative, right? This video I posted June of 2022, and it still gets over 1,000 views a day. So I'm really just trying to stress how evergreen this is and how possible it is, because in December 19th, 2021, which is when I started this channel, I was a sophomore in high school. Okay, I was a sophomore in high school, but I had already built up like the knowledge that I needed to make this channel successful. As you can see, I started this channel with Key Glock Beats, right? I just went consistent with that. Eventually I added Big Scar in the title, saw that did good, and that's what eventually led to me getting some bangers, right? 600,000 views here, 1.5 million here, and eventually I built up a very large catalog. Also secured a Lil TJ placement, because big rappers do go on YouTube for beats as well, don't get it twisted. I got a Lil TJ placement here. It's at about 12 million streams on Spotify, and so I've really been able to build myself up, you know, not relying on record labels, not relying on anyone else but myself, you know, really built myself a business here. And in this video, I'm really just talking about this type B channel. I have other channels I have blown up, because this is like what I do. You know, I do this full time. I have a BeatStars 1 million plaque back there, as you can see. If you're a producer, you know what that is. But yeah, it's a very lucrative business model. But essentially how I was able to grow this channel is by going for what I like to call the trend hopping strategy. So like I mentioned, I started on Key Glock, but then I saw Big Scar started to work, so I started doing that. Farmed millions of views with that keyword. Eventually I dropped this video here where I had multiple keywords in the title, and we'll go back to that in just a second. But I dropped this video here which had a picture of a guy holding a gun, got 1 million views. So I started doing that a ton, farmed more and more views doing that strategy. Then remember how I said I dropped a video with 3 keywords in the title? Well, the second time I ever did that, it got another 500,000 views. So I realized, okay, every time I drop a video with those 3 keywords in the title, it blows up. So I dropped it again. Boom. The third video I drop with those 3 keywords, it gets 1.4 million views. and I dropped it with a picture of a gun. So then I do that again, and then 2 videos later doing that keyword strategy, and then I put the thumbnails with the guns, I get 900,000 views again. And so I kept doing that. You know, I started creating my own trends and then just milking that trend as much as possible. So when I say a trend, it's more like what happened to work. So this I would call a trend. A lot of people started doing videos like this when I started blowing up with these videos, but no one was doing it before me. So you kind of have to create the trend. And that's what a lot of producers mess up, is they just follow. If you're constantly following in other people's footsteps, you'll never like go big. But if you're creating the trend, then that's how you really cook. So I did that for a very long time. That trend definitely lasted a while, and eventually, you know, I realized I don't even need to put those 3 keywords in. I can still just do just Big Scar, but still have the same type of thumbnail, and it still touched damn near 1 million views. If you look here, I dropped a Lil Double O type beat. I saw it did 100,000 views. So eventually I dropped another one. It got 200,000 views, right? I recognized what worked. And this was my strategy to get to that $70,000 mark on AdSense revenue with this channel, is I just constantly trend hopped. Now I only did this, I switched the keyword from Big Scar to another keyword after like 20-30,000 subs. This doesn't work if you're at like 100 subs. Okay, your channel's gonna fall off. This only worked because I had already built up an audience, so I was able to take on any new lane that I wanted, and the lane matched what I was already going for. And I'll give you an example of that. As you can see, I was doing Big Scar. It still worked for a very long time, right? 300,000 views right here. And I recognized there was another artist coming up. He hopped on a bunch of sample type beats. His name was Rack Baby. So I was one of the first people, or really like I wouldn't say the first person, but I was definitely like the second or third person to do his type of beats. So I dropped my first Rack Baby type beat, and I put sample in the title as well, and it did 200,000 views. But as you can see, the thumbnail matched my theme already. Like, it wasn't that different. I didn't just like full on do a 180. And then Vaughnoff 1700 as well. I hopped on him very early, and I just switched the niche, but the thumbnails were already consistent with what I was already doing, so I was able to take on that niche. 100,000 views here, and I started doing Rack Baby, Vaughnoff 1700. I started mixing those 2 in along with Big Scar, so I was able to kind of do these like 3 keywords heavily last summer. As you can see, Rack Baby sample type beat, 330,000 views, and then a Big Scar one, 75,000 views, which is totally 2 different niches, but the theme is still there. And I was able to cement myself into these new lanes because I had already built up a following, and I studied what type of beats they were, right? I made really hard beats. That's another thing. The beats were exactly what people that would search for a Rack Baby beat wanted. Like, it was identical. Vaughnoff 1700 beat, 150,000 views. As you can see, you know, 100,000 here. They really start to stack up once you like see something working. You just gotta hop on it all in. Rack Baby X Lil Tony, right? I add someone new in, 200,000, 280,000. I start doing that more. I see a guy named YFG Fatso starts popping up, so I put him in the title. Boom, 80,000 views. I see Screwly G and Bloodhound Q50, this new Chicago scene, right? And guess what? Rack Baby, YFG Fatso, all these guys are from Chicago, so I was able to people were already liking this sound, so I was able to just instantly go on this lane. 58,000 views, boom, 13,000, 30,000. So yeah, that was my strategy with growing this type B channel to $70,000, 71,000 in YouTube ad revenue. Remember, if you want to learn more about this and need more advice, feel free to join my free newsletter. Link in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.